Hi, I'm James Schillinglaw, and I'm aboard the MS Trollfjord here in Norway, off the coast. We're in the middle of the fjords, and we're almost to the end of the cruise. But one thing we wanted to spend some time on is to talk about the food on board, the dining, which is off the charts, I got to tell you. It's totally unexpected for me. I knew something about it. I'd written some releases and seen some articles about it, but I wasn't prepared. And so we have here is Marcus Carlden, who's the food and beverage manager on board here, and we're going to talk to him about this whole dining concept. And we're actually right now in the top restaurant, Roost, which we will talk about very shortly. And you're going to hear about all that and more on Insider Travel Report. Marcus, first of all, great to see you. Thank you. It's been a wonderful cruise. I think I've gained a little bit of weight here because I've been coming here to Roost as I'm in a suite, and so I guess I get access to this restaurant all the time, and I've been doing it. I have gone to the other restaurants, but I got to tell you, first of all, what do you do as food and beverage manager on board?
Thank you for having you on board here. I'm sorry for the wait, but that's something you have to live with when on board MS Trollfjord, I guess.
I'm going to go out and do a lot more active shore excursions, I think, or something like that. But that's it.
Sounds perfect. So as a food and beverage, I'm in charge of all the restaurants on board, all the kitchens on board, and a lot of crew, all waiters and all the chefs on board. So it's my responsibility that we are following the concepts and so on.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the restaurants on board. You have three sort of main restaurants. We're in the highest end restaurant, but let's start with Roost. When did this is a fairly new concept for you. I don't know when it started. It's I think in the last year or so. But what is Roost, and what are you trying to do here?
Yes, that's right. This is a concept that we started a little bit over 1 year ago, when we want to lift our food and beverage concept in the fleet one level higher. So we started Roost, which then is a food and beverage concept that is included for all our suites. So we serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and also afternoon tea up here in Roost.
And I've been to all of them, you see. So that's it. So that's and it is it's just sort of addictive. You got to keep coming out. First of all, the service is amazing, and everyone knows your name, and you just walk in and you go to your table, or sometimes you get to a different table. But it has just been a fabulous experience every night.
I'm very glad to hear that, because that's our main focus, to give the suites a really good experience also in the restaurants, not only with the excursions and so on. So up here in Roost, we have the finest Norwegian delicacies that we are refined and cooking and showing you in a little bit more modern way of how to do it. It's a big focus at what grows along the shore and under the keel, so a lot of seafood and a little bit more modern ingredients like seaweed and so on.
It is. We're going to talk a little more in depth on some of those ingredients, because you really do source local here. So we're going to talk about that. But let's talk about the other restaurants. You have another one called Aran, I believe?
Yes. So Aran is our brasserie. It's an all-day dining restaurant, which is included for all passengers on board. The menu there is a little bit more rustique, Sami inspired. So you can have a reindeer soup, and you can have what we call sovas, which is like a wrap with reindeer.
That's what I had. I was the wrap was wonderful. The reindeer, there's a little pickled in there, and it was a really wonderful dinner. It's the one night I didn't eat here, and I was very happy to try it out. So it is a real different, and you have to make a reservation, but it's also a steakhouse in a way too, right?
It's a steakhouse, and we have some dry age specialties that we can serve down there as well. And since it's available for all passengers on board, it's really popular to try some real Sami dishes. And
the Sami is a people within Norway, right? It's a specific what would you call Sami?
Yeah, it's our native peoples from the north of Scandinavia, okay. Sweden, Finland, and Norway.
I knew in Finland all those, so it is across Scandinavia. Now, let's go to the final restaurant, which is kind of the main restaurant, Flora, and I have tried that once. It's great. It's in the stern of the ship. There's a lot of options, and that again is breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right?
That's right. So Flora is our main dining restaurant. We serve between 300 and 400 guests every day. So it's a buffet for breakfast and lunch, and on the evening it's a 3-course small a la carte menus when you can choose from starters, main course, and desserts. So the idea with Flora is to use the basic Norwegian ingredients, both from the flora and from the fauna, and to also there show them in what we can do in a little bit more modern way. Traditional cooking methods that we are presenting in a little bit more modern way.
No, and it was a great lunch, and I really should do it again, but I've become addicted to Roost, unfortunately, but that's because it is really an incredible restaurant. Now, you also have a wonderful bar. I think it's the 1893 bar, which I think dates from the time of Hurtigruten's founding, right?
That's right. 1893 is the year. The bar is also a new built bar, just a little bit over 1 year. Also a new concept when we are focused on local beverages as well. Mm-hmm. For example, we only have Norwegian beer, we only have Norwegian gin, we have Norwegian rum, we have Norwegian whiskey, we have a menu with cocktails, which is handcraft.
I had one. They dragged me over here after we had a tasting menu. We're going to talk about that in a second. And they said, you have to go have this drink. And it turned out to be a drink made with your brown cheese, which is kind of reminded me a little of Kahlua and cream a little bit, but much more potent and much. Really, it was lovely. And it was luckily I couldn't drink a lot of it, but it was just having had just 9 courses. But it was an amazing drink and very different.
Yeah, so I think you have the Gudbrandsdalen drink here then.
Yeah,
so it's the valley. It's named after the valley, which is famous for the brown cheese. So what we did there is we actually did our own brown cheese liqueur, which you can. It's similar to like a Baileys or so, but we did our own with vodka and brown cheese.
It's off of this bottle. They have a little bottle. I think it's an X on it or something. Yeah. It's the brown cheese liqueur. So it really is an amazing thing. Now, we talked about sourcing local, and you do actively. I mean, you have to sort of be open to trying a lot of different things, both on fish, on kind of your local caviar. I've had reindeer here. I've had moose last night, and I tried not to think of bullwinkle, but that's another story. But it was a really wonderful, very lean piece of meat that was just wonderful to eat. So you do try to source out, and you go out. I think you go out to different suppliers all around here, right?
Yeah, that's right. We work with a lot of local suppliers along the whole Norwegian coast. So what we did was when we started the NCK, Norwegian Coastal Kitchen, which is our food concept, over 10 years ago, we sent out an inquiry to ask if someone want to work with us. And we actually got several hundred responses of local farmers, from fishermen to breweries, cheese farmers, everything that want to work with us. But of course we have now up to 8 ships traveling all the day around, all the year around. So you need a certain size to be able to work with us. But we work with over 50 local suppliers that deliver us from local cheese, the meat that you talked about, the fish, the shellfish.
We are in Norway, so fish is a big item, believe me. So I guess what would you tell guests that they should make sure they try? Because I think some people, I don't know if I want that. Do I really want to eat reindeer? Do I really want to eat moose? Do I really want this kind of fish? But you have to open your stomach, I guess, to try these things, because they really are wonderful.
Yes, I suggest that you are open-minded, and as you said, open your stomach and try our ingredients and our delicacies, because we're working really, really hard to present these in a really exclusive way. So be open-minded, take part in our tastings that we do on deck, where we show the specific food that's representative of the area we are sailing in, and so on.
Yeah, so we just actually, yesterday we had a demonstration of how you pound cod, I think, and dried cod, and these guys taking his hammer to make it softer, and then we all had little pieces of cod. But you can also cook it later or whatever. He told us all ways to prepare it. So it really is an education in Norwegian cooking. Now, one of the things I don't want to get away from before mentioning is you have one night a cruise. You have a tasting menu here at Roost, and I was lucky enough to be here for one of the nights, and oh my God, that was one of the most amazing meals I've ever had. It was like 9 courses, and I got to the dessert. I can't have the dessert. I had the dessert. So but tell me again, this is all local stuff, really different courses with a wine pairing, right?
Yeah, that's right. So this is what we call our exclusive chef's dinner, which is a 9-course when we handpick the absolute best ingredients that we have in the menus serving you for the 2 weeks. And we are cooking it in perfection, as I've been telling you earlier, the modern, new thinking way of these ingredients, how we can use them on the plate in combination with the really, really exclusive caviar and things like that you get on the menu, compared with some really, really good bubbles and other
indeed,
wines.
and we should talk about that too, because you have your own private stock of bubbles, which actually you store the wine under the sea, right?
Yeah, that's right. We have one sparkling wine from Sussex, England, that we are aging in the Norwegian Sea.
It was excellent, by the way. I tried it. I wasn't sure how I'd like it. I have had the wine from that region, but you then submerge it, and it's there for how many months? Something like.
It's getting longer and longer, so now it's up to 1 year. We are aging it there. We are hoping to have even longer time for the coming bottles that we're going to send down. So
well,
yes.
It is a wonderful thing to have, and it's kind of fun to think, these bottles have been down. I said, where are they submerged at? We got to go find this place so I can get more of it, right? But it is a wonderful, wonderful feature to have as part of that dinner, and you can have it during the other dinners on board as well. Now, do you find that guests really are surprised at how good this cuisine is?
Yes, they are. They know that we have a big focus on the food and beverage part on the Hurtigruten cruises, but they get really, really happy about it and understand the level and of the food and the concept on board. So I think that if you are a foodie, then you should travel with the signature concept in Hurtigruten, and because then food is a bigger part of the experience along the coast.
And it certainly is with this cruise. I mean, it's a gorgeous. We're actually sailing through a fjord now. It's gorgeous. We've been sailing through fjords. We started way up in Svalbard. We went to all the incredible places, the farthest north, the most northern town in the world, close to the North Pole, actually. And then we've been sailing down the Norwegian coast ever since, and we're going to end up in Bergen. But I have to tell you, the main thing that kind of rocked me here was the quality of the food and what you do with it, and it's so much fun, and it's one of the reasons to book Hurtigruten. Now, we go out to about 125,000 travel advisors. What would you tell them to tell their clients about what to expect here?
Expect some good food, some new modern Norwegian cooking, a good beverage selection to even lift the food experience even higher, and be prepared that food is a big part of the journey on board MS Trollfjord.
It definitely has been a big part of my journey. Unfortunately, I think I got a little bigger because of it. I'm going to have to do some of the more active excursions. I did a biking, and tomorrow I got hiking. But then I'm almost done. But it has been a wonderful experience here. Marcus, I want to thank you and your team. They're wonderful. The service you get on board is super. They're friendly, and they encourage you to try these different things that maybe might have been out of your comfort zone, but once you try them, you're saying, I'm glad I did. And they also tell you to have dessert, which is sometimes after you've had 5 courses or 9, you're saying, no, I just can't do dessert. Have the dessert, because boy, the desserts are fantastic. In fact, all the meals are wonderful, and I'm talking on breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I just finished a 3-4 course lunch, which I don't have that normally, but today I'm glad I did. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm James Schillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.